I'm not gonna lie, I really do. I just haven't. I have books on it.
It's a
It
lot.
seems very interesting. It
It's
is
a
a lot.
lot.
And
Um,
some crystals get kind of expensive as well, you know what I mean? I'm sure you
well,
know.
I have been meaning to get it set. It's a very large. It's an 8 carat emerald cut um, granditerite. Probably haven't heard of it. It's one of the
Nope.
10 rarest crystals in the world. Um, per carat, it's like 25,000 plus.
Oh my
Yeah, that
gosh.
like you see the
And
face.
how
Like,
much is that?
I'm picking up what you're putting
Oh,
down. Damn.
A
well,
gift?
oddly enough, uh, I'm I'm really good at discovering direct channels.
Yeah.
So I got this directly from a supplier in Madagascar, which is the only place in the world that it's found. So I don't think I paid more than $20 for it.
Nice. That's the way to do it. Like
Oh,
we go out
absolutely.
to visit Colorado, and my husband loves rocks, and we always go to the rock shops and we look at the crystals because like he and my youngest, like that is their thing. Um, I am frugal, so paying for earth that I can pick up, really rough for me.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so we always go to the rock shops, and like my husband and my kid, they like talk to the rock guys, and they'll tell us where we can go and find our own.
Yeah.
They'll tell
Well,
us
and I
where we can go and harvest our own. You can go down here and you'll find garnets and you'll find amethyst. You can go over
Well,
here.
I want to
I'm like,
go.
you can go to Madagascar.
okay, yeah.
Well, that and
You
I
drive them
I
out.
want to go to what is it? Or you're probably gonna laugh the way I say this, but I refuse to say Arkansas. I call it Arkansas. There's no fucking
Oh,
W
what
in
are
that
you
word.
from Kansas? Are you from Kansas?
No.
Excluding America.
That is a Kansas. Like, no, I used to live in Kansas. That's a Kansas thing. The Arkansas River, where it flows through Kansas, they call it the Arkansas River.
Why is
And
it
if you
spelled that
say
way?
Arkansas River, they're like, "You're not from around here, are you?"
No.
Oh my God.
It's just
I said
a
that.
phonetic thing for me because I'm like, there's not an AU and there's not a W, so why the fuck am I saying saw?
I understand. It's like when people from here say you're supposed to say Missouri. I'm like, there's an I at the end.
Yeah.
Misery.
No.
But
We're
no,
right in the Ozarks.
Yeah.
there's a diamond field in Arkansas. Because well, I mean, you guys know Yellowstone is a volcano.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
No.
yeah, I'm just waiting for that bad boy to erupt.
In my 20s, because I watched a documentary and I was terrified.
No, I watched.
I was like, can we move further east?
I
Can we
read a
move
sad
further east?
story
Oh,
about
when
a
that
guy
bad boy
fell
goes?
in the pond.
No, when Yellowstone goes, there's nowhere safe
No.
on the planet. There's not
Shut
gonna be
your
anywhere
face,
safe.
Kevin.
And
Sorry.
I don't need to hear that. I already know it.
Well, no, like what's funny, I want to say it's like a few thousand years overdue to erupt.
Yes,
It is.
I know
It
this.
is.
Again, very real fear from my 20s that I'm like not over. Thank you.
I love Pompeii. I don't want to live Pompeii.
Not many people lived Pompeii for long. They just
But no, I want to go to the diamond field in Arkansas because you can actually like. Okay, a little known fact is that that all the gemstones that we love so much, they're created in the core of the earth and they come out through volcanoes.
yeah, we talked about that in our Hollow Earth episode.
Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been there. But
You've been
All right,
to Hollow
Hollow
Earth?
Earth, tell us.
no. Okay, Hollow Earth doesn't exist on this plane. It's not on this plane of existence.
The fucking fourth dimension. We got it right, dude.
I know. We talked all about this shit. Like,
Okay,
I'm so
okay, that's one of the things about like that Ascension deck that I have. When I was going through it, there's like cards and I'm like, what the fuck? Because there's like a unicorn card and there's like all this other stuff. And it took me a while to understand this, that all the things that we think of as being myths and legends and like stories from our past, like fairies, unicorns, dragons, those kinds of things, they exist, just not on this plane of existence.
I totally agree. Absolutely. Absolutely.
We're not worthy.
Well,
And, well, and like me personally, the way that I see it is I don't know. I know there's a word for this. I don't know what it is, but it's one thing on top of another on top of another. So
Like the multiverse?
yeah, kind
Well,
of
parallel
like
universes.
well, we're
Yeah.
outside. Okay. So let's say I told you this. We hear a ghost. Hey, what are you doing?
Right.
And then they're like, what are you doing? And you think you're having a conversation with a ghost, but it's really just
you
somebody
from somewhere else, or
either
another
you or
person
somebody
in
else in
another
another dimension.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so fairies are outside, but we can't see them because they're through that thin paper parallel. Right. I don't know if that makes sense.
And only the
Oh, it does.
special can see, or if they want you to see them, can you see?
Well, that's what
Right.
we
When you
call
put
the
on-
veil. Like when the
Yeah,
veil is thinned on
exactly.
certain days, you can see. But
Yeah.
It's just,
let me bake your noodles real quick. Time doesn't exist, right?
Absolutely not. It's a construct of man.
Exactly.
absolutely.
Okay, so now once you take time being linear out of the equation,
Right.
and we understand that there are infinite
No,
no spiral. Okay, we understand that there are infinite parallel universes, and since time doesn't exist, okay, we're good, right? So when you have a past life, whether it's a dream, a vision, a reading, you have to understand that each version of you in every universe, every iteration of you is vibrating on a similar frequency. It might be off by like 0.000001 degrees or whatever.
Yeah, I just learned. Keep talking.
But
yes, I'm with you.
So-
I know where you're going. I love this. Keep
so
talking. I know where
when
you're going.
we have like a past life reading or something like that, or connect with your past selves. No, you're connecting with a different version of you in a different universe. And since time doesn't exist, each one of those is at like a different point in its evolution. So we're in like the 21st century. Maybe there's a version of you that's in the 19th century. So when you look in on that
And
one,
when your vibrations get close enough together, you can overlap, and that's where like
Okay.
that's where like
and like moving timelines and shit.
well, that's where like
and,
deja
like,
vu comes from.
Yes, exactly. That was what I was gonna
Well,
say
I have
next.
a question.
And
then.
Prescott that's where Prescott comes from as well,
I have a question then.
which is just fun to say. Prescott.
Don't know if you ever watched Outlander or heard of the show.
I have.
So like, if you go to a place and your energy, your vibration with that person, that version of you, and your vibration and this vibration is so in the one, can you go back in time, quote, because time's not
Yes.
concept.
Yes.
You can visit yourself and like the summer thing.
Right, that's what I'm
I
saying.
know. I'm like,
Yeah, like I learned about
I'm
that
gonna
theory
touch
when we were doing our simulation theory episode, and it like resonated. Remember I told you all this shit resonated with me, and I was just like, oh, this is part of my belief system now. That's one of those things where it's like you exist on this vibrational level, and so does like a shit ton of others of you, and sometimes you come to the exact right vibration where you overlap
oh my God,
and you touch each
switch.
other.
Okay, but
yeah,
this would be a great book or movie.
Oh,
and then you
switch. Watch Sliding Doors. Please watch Sliding Doors.
But like instead of it being like just slightly off, because there's nothing fun about that, you're transferred to like 19 or 1440 something.
I mean, okay, so that's
and it's like
two.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, Sliding
But-
Doors is like two iterations of her in the same place at the same time, and one stays with a shitbag boyfriend, and the other gets with this great guy. It's really good, but it's like that same concept of like, the vibrations came together in the same spot. Sorry, Kevin, this is how we
you're
do
good.
it. Apologize.
No,
But like, I got so
you guys get
excited
it.
when I heard you going there because I was like, I know where you're going with
What
this.
if that
and I
has
love
happened
it.
to me with the remote?
I'm like, seriously, like, when I said I don't believe in
Okay.
simulation theory, but there's other things I believe in, that's one of them.
Can either one of you astral travel?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay. At will?
If I want to. Yeah.
Only
I mean,
on-
I
Okay.
personally can't. I can do it when I'm awake.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
I can do it in my sleep and I can do it while awake during extreme duress, but I have not mastered doing it without the extreme duress.
Okay.
I
Well,
can
it's
do it
really
in my
fun.
sleep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's really fun when you can do it at
absolutely.
will.
I had a astral projection where I lived on a hill and I was going through other people's houses and I was like, damn, they got some nice shit. And I was like going through all their houses, like totally eavesdropping, like wow, that's like I don't know. Is that bad? Is that
No,
bad?
I'm just like, yours is a fun one. I astral projected to the underworld searching my little brother when he passed away and didn't mean to go there. I was just so fucking upset, and that's where I wound up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow.
When I do it willingly,
It was the most amazing experience that I've never been able to recreate. But I don't want to try too hard either because A, I don't really want to go there again. But B, the amount of mental and
Energy?
emotional anguish that I was in at the time that I was able to make that happen during wakeful hours. Like, do I really want to revisit it that way? Not really. I just haven't learned how to do it without all that.
when I do it when I'm asleep, I can't control it. But when
Yeah,
I do
see,
it when I do it when I'm awake and I go into this meditative state, I can control it. It's funner in my sleep, I'm not gonna lie. But also I can see some scary shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's
Well-
scary when I'm asleep. Yeah.
Okay, so something a lot of people don't quite grasp about astral is that well, you know what? I don't give a shit about religion. You're a god. So whatever you think of, you can create. And
I have to master that, but
like,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to
oh,
interrupt.
no, you're good. But the thing about like astral travel is a lot of people that like try to do it, they stay here on Earth. They like can go to like a different point or whatever on Earth. Very few ever think, oh well, what's beyond this? That's where I always go.
I'm gonna be
No,
real.
I won't lie. Like winding up in the underworld was very
I guess
disconcerting.
you leaving the world then.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was very disconcerting. And Maddie knows the whole story, but at the time I was my husband had his arms around me and he was asleep, but I firmly am not sure, would I have like easily found my way back if I didn't have that earthly connection? Because we were talking about like the Ed and Lorraine movies and how her husband's that earthly tether for her. And we have a friend whose wife is an earthly tether for him because he doesn't have control and he actually
Has
he
left and
he
gone
has
to
left gone to other timelines on regular
Right.
basis.
Well, yeah.
I typically stay on it.
Well, if you ever get ballsy enough to go elsewhere, it's fun because, like, humans, we're capable of wonderful things, but we also tend to limit ourselves because we're afraid of our own power, which I strongly believe is the whole point of religion.
What it is for me. I don't think I'll get trapped. It's just being, what the fuck am I gonna see?
Yeah,
Well,
the fear of the unknown is very human and very real, even in the pagan community. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Whereas me, it's like I don't give a fuck. I'm going to go check it out. I'll be the first guy to die in the horror movie. But in astral, I've gone to like multiple dimensions to where that's how I'm able to learn things and see things from a different perspective than a lot of other people.
I won't lie, you're inspiring me because I'm like,
we've been
talking about doing more
about extending our astral projection. So
but like you're inspiring me because I'm like, I could astral project to a plane where I could talk with my ancestors.
Well, and I'm also
wasn't
he saying this for a reason? Because we
have been talking about it. Like he's brought up a lot of things we've been talking about.
If you want to commune with your ancestors, you'll have to go to Inner Earth, not Hollow Earth. Two different things.
Damn, I got excited.
Inner Earth, my ass, my ancestors, they with me. Trust me. Like they're with me all the time. I just want to be able to like have a more corporeal conversation with them.
Will you please tell me if this is unfounded? Because I haven't done very much research with it. But if you're going to astral project to talk to spirits, doesn't that kind of, you're leaving your body to talk to spirits? It's like light at the end of a dark tunnel for other spirits as well. Or am I wrong?
Maybe not. It depends. Like with astral, it's okay. You've both seen The Matrix, right? Like the first one.
I'm real with you. No, I have not. Matrix. It's
Okay.
not because I'm a millennial, a younger millennial. It's because I just have never been interested in it.
But in theory, I have seen The Matrix, so let's just
Okay,
you
well,
have
there's
the
a
basic idea, though,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
okay. Well, there's a part in the movie called The Construct, and it's a computer program where they can simulate things, and that's like the best, representation I could think of for astral, because you can
You
bust up
create
in
that
there
world itself.
because you can bust up in there. It's completely blank, and you don't see shit. And then you're like, okay, well, I want a chair to sit on. Boom, there it is.
Like, damn,
So-
should I be taking notes?
You are able to create your own version that you want to interact with. Now that's only on like this
Wait,
version of it.
Wait.
Motherfucker just told me like I've already been astral projecting a whole bunch. I just gotta give it a goddamn background.
Wait, I'm just.
That's what this guy just said. Sorry, I didn't mean
Yeah,
to.
you're
I
good.
say that with all the love in the world. I say it like Samuel L.
I'm
Jackson.
thinking
like
less,
it just comes out.
Yeah.
less The Matrix and more Inception with
Yeah, I haven't
With-
seen that one.
Inception.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay, well, Inception kind of borrows from Doctor Strange with like the whole like mirror dimension type thing, to where it's like do that, because that like Inception did a whole lot of stuff similar to like that, or Doctor Strange did since it came out afterward. But it's similar in that you're able to simply create whatever world it is you want to interact with. The thing is, as I was saying, humans, we limit ourselves. We're afraid of our own power, so we tend to stick to this version of the world that we know of. Whereas,
So is it dangerous? Is it dangerous to start creating, or
No.
can you just like if I were to go home
Well, no, because-
and start my
because
and
once you
try.
leave, it's gone. Because once you leave, it's gone.
Because you're the master of that universe that you've just created.
Exactly.
I want to try this really bad.
So-
like
So the interesting part though is like when you finally decide to break through to a different dimension, that's when you start to see things that the upper echelon beings have created for us and for themselves. Like in that Ascension deck, there's talk of like the schools and universities of Sirius, which is like for us, it's a star, but
Right.
in their plane of existence, it's a place, and it's a place where you go to learn about astrochemistry and all other kinds of things that you'll need once you level up and get to that plane of existence.
So when you say inner earth, do you literally mean like within the constructs of the ball on which we all find ourselves at this moment, or
It will
is
appear
that
that way.
another dimension in and of itself? What do you, when you say
Okay,
inner earth?
it's a dimension within our dimension. So we all kind of say that we live in 3D, right? Well, this would be like 3D sublevel A.
So literally, like if you picture like you're a snow globe, and they are that piece
Little-
that is the
inside the snow.
yeah, it's like that keeps
Pretty much.
the inside of the snow globe separate from that outside casing. So
much.
that's when okay.
Yep.
Sorry,
That's
my
like the
brain
best.
pictures things when people talk, so I'm like trying to picture
good.
what you said.
But yeah, so that's what inner Earth is. Hollow Earth is completely fucking different. It's another like universe or existence or dimension within a
I'm with
dimension.
it. He fucking was there. He was just in another place of existence.
I believe it. I believe it. I do. But I'm reeling over the astro projection. I'm not gonna lie, because
You literally opened my eyes, sir.
well,
Thank
most of
you.
the astro projection that I have done has been simple, like, oh, I'm walking in the cemetery that's down the road from my house. I'm going on a walk. It's never been complex. So that's like, oh my god, am I a
Well,
first level astro
well, it's like,
projector? You know
I
what I mean?
go
Like,
to the empty space all the time, so that's like technically not Earth. Is that correct? Is that what you're
Correct.
what,
saying?
do you
The
mean you
empty
just
space?
like blink?
Yeah, I go to empty space.
So
But
Yeah.
I can create my own world when I'm in empty space.
Right. Because
Fucking all right.
and
I know,
the whole
I believed in my own power.
I
I thought I believed in my own power, but like I guess I gotta learn more, I guess, so I understand what it is I'm doing. Because yeah, I go to empty space all the fucking time. If you saw my face when he was talking,
It's almost
I
like
was
a
just
mind
like, oh my
palace.
God.
Like a mind
Yes,
palace.
exactly.
I'm not trying to sound super lame, but I'm like imagining myself meditating and getting into my space and being like, no, that goes there.
See,
You know,
yeah.
Hey.
like, you
Yeah.
get what I'm saying, right?
It's
Like,
funny because I'm like, yeah, like the Fairly Odd Parents have that like whole hallway of like places you can
oh
go.
my God, right?
I'm designing my inner space like that.
Right. Well, like, I would be
Bunch
scared.
of
Oh, I
doorways.
don't know. That sounds scary. Like to stand at the edge and then there's just like a bunch of doorways and it's like, where am I gonna go? I'm gonna open this one and there's like a monster fucking roar. Like,
Okay, well, I mean,
Okay,
yeah, so
so-
like I'm like as soon as I said the Fairly Odd Parents thing, I was like, ooh, or like Beetlejuice.
oh
So,
my God.
I guess I like scary shit, I guess, a little bit. Cause that sounds bomb
Like
to me.
for me, I'm
like-
sitting here thinking I'm like in the middle of a park by myself and I'm like, there's a tree in front of me and then I'm like, oh, moving some oh shit, some flowers just
Well, I mean,
right?
like
Like I don't
I'm
know.
not-
Maybe
I
my
love
brain's
that
already
we had
happening.
this conversation because you are obviously adept at astral projection. We have been talking literally for months
Right.
about both of our abilities and our desires to grow those abilities.
Right, yes.
And unfortunately, I think I don't mean to speak for both of us, but I'm gonna say I think fear has held both
oh,
of us back.
absolutely.
But as somebody who has literally accidentally wound up in the underworld, having someone who has more knowledge than myself in this aspect encouraging me that I already am in places I had no idea I was going, and that not only have I been doing this thing, but I have the power to make it even better
Yeah.
so that I can enjoy it and lose my fear. Because like that's knowledge makes me less fearful. You know what I mean? Like the more I
Oh,
know about
absolutely.
something, the less afraid I am, which is the fear has held me back from even looking into it further. So thank you for this conversation.
Yeah, no problem.
No, I
Really
do
love
have
it.
a question. I want to hear
Sure.
your opinion. This is something that's been bothering me. It does have to do with my astral projection. So, and it's crazy you say you can't get spirits attached to you. I think you know where I'm going with this. When I was a child, first looking into the craft, I guess probably 12 or 13. So maybe I was
Adolescent.
teetering.
You were poltergeist age.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, no, dead ass. And I had gotten an evil, and I'll call it evil spirit attached to me. We moved out of the house because of it. And since then, keep in mind, I'm in my late 20s now. I still have dreams about the house that I lived in when I was 12 or 13. And in those dreams, the evil spirit is saying, come back. Don't you want to come back? And I'm walking through the house, and I fully believe it's astral projection. And I'm walking into my old room, and I can hear him speaking. And maybe I can't see him sometimes, but I can always feel them.
Well, maybe now do you feel like you can take your own power in the situation, knowing what you know and being like, no, you're not here. This is my space.
Well, I can fix this for you real quick.
Oh.
Okay.
Like that little girl with the wasabi.
Aw, that video makes
Okay.
me so
So actually what it feels like is there's still a like energy cord attached to you from that being.
nice. Yeah.
So that's why it's still able to kind of fuck with you. But here's the fun part. The whole reason I even like really started to get into astral projection was to get rid of shit at our old house. Because we might be 3D, but we kind of forget that we're not the first level. There's 1 and 2 as well. And that's where like the demons and the evil beings and things of that sort, they're at that level. So
they're
they,
one-dimensional, two-dimensional creatures. Sorry, my
Yep.
brain just making connections.
you're good. So what they try to do is connect with us so that they can attempt to come into this dimension. In order to get rid of the things that were at my old house, I had to go into astral, and then I had to learn a way to protect myself. And that's where I learned that whatever I think, I create in astral. So I was able to clad myself, and it was like stupid. It was like a knight's armor or whatever. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go kick some ass. Um,
Metaphorical,
it is
metaphysical.
it is what it is. So I
Cool.
was able to drop down into 2 and 1D, clear out the things that were, trying to come through on our plane, like to get a little bit personal, like one actually tried to come through my now 10-year-old. I actually have a video of him like 2 in the morning, just coming out, like sitting in the middle of the floor and being completely inhuman. I was like,
What is that like the age?
Exorcist.
Well, I'm just wondering. That's such a vulnerable age because that's where around the time that I was also, fuck
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and that's
well,
why I
he's
said
10.
adolescent
Well,
slash, poltergeist age. It's
well,
adolescence. There's
he's
all
10
these
now.
changes.
At the
Hormonal.
time,
Oh, he's 10 now.
he's 10 now. At the time, he was 4. So, like, it
That's
was
vulnerable.
really disconcerting. Like, at that point, I was like, nah. It's like, y'all might not be able to mess with me, but I can fuck with you. So that's why I taught myself to go into astral, protect myself. And then I was able to clear everything out. I was able to clear out the portals that were all over the property. I was able to clear out all the low level shit to where literally when I came back, I could feel the difference in the energy. It wasn't so heavy there anymore. And that's how I was able to kind of master going into astral. It became a very personal reason, but whatever it takes. And from there, it's like I just kind of taught myself how to do other things. And now what I can do is I have a friend in Texas who I'm in South Carolina now. So Texas, half a country away.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, Kev, I feel like there's something here, but I can't do anything about it. It's like, all right, cool. I'll pop over in just a moment. Literally, like,
BRB, and just head on over.
I like legit. It's like, all right, well, let me just sit down and popped into astral, and the way I explained it to her was I was able to find her quickly because since in astral time doesn't exist and like space means nothing, you're able to travel at the speed of thought, right?
Almost instantly, yeah.
Right.
So that's why you can go across the world like that, right?
Right.
So the way I explained it to her was like, whenever I have to like go find you or find someone else, you're kind of like a bat signal shining up in the sky. So I can like pop right on over and like just to make kind of trip her out a little bit. Actually, I was having a little bit of fun with it. I get over there and I was like checking out the house. I come back. I'm like, all right, so this is what I see. And she's like, why the fuck are you in my living room? I'm like,
I'm sorry, hold on. This is exactly what we're talking about when it comes to working with spirits and doing this as well. Yeah. This is exactly what we were talking about.
So
very serendipitous.
So I went back over there and I like walked around the house and was like, okay, well, I could see where you have a couple of portals. And she's like, where? It's like, well, there's one in this closet.
Thank you.
Well, I was like, there's one in the closet of this bedroom and it's behind this. And she walked in and it was like her boyfriend's kids' room and it was in their closet. I described everything perfectly. And she was like, how do I do? I was like, don't worry, I'll fix it. So took care of that, took care of the other one. And I was like, there's someone here that's just more annoying than anything. He's not, malicious or anything. He's just bored. And I don't think he's actually. But yeah, I was like, he's not attached to anything in the house or anyone in the house. He's just kind of passing through. And I think he was attracted to your energy and he just felt like fucking with you. I can get rid of him. Yeah. I can take care of him or, I can let you do it. She's like, no, please. So I was like, dude, you got to go. Like, go anywhere but here and don't try and follow me because I'll send your ass back to the underworld. But just piss off. And he's like, all right, sorry. He's like, yeah, fuck off. So
I mean, and I'm sure like in the spirit world, they don't always understand they're annoying humans because like they don't necessarily remember what being alive was like if they ever were a member of,
Yeah, the
the
human
human
race.
race
Yeah.
versus,
No.
being
Well,
an
okay.
entity that was not.
This is where real science meets metaphysical science. So physical science and metaphysical science. Um, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Simply
Oh,
changes form, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
So that means literally everything that is here now existed in some other form at some point. So
Absolutely.
all these other souls or whatever, spirits or whatever, they may not have existed on this level of existence, but they existed on another one. And they just kind of cross over to this one.
Right.
Um, and that's where like the physical science meets metaphysical with, I want to call it string theory, where like this version of me is attached to another version of me on some level.
Yeah.
So that's where like,
No.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm with you 100%. I think I like to say quite often, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So obviously, everything that is alive was, has always been here. I
Yeah.
guess is a good way to put it. I mean, we are.
That's why
And
like,
as you're pointing out, even energy that maybe was never alive as we would consider it to be, it was still on this plane in one shape or
yeah.
form or fashion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Like very interesting conversation. Are you gonna have a show? Like, are you having a podcast or are you gonna have some kind of like show that you put out or what's your oh you're good.
Yes.
What's yeah.
All
Okay.
of it.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I, so I started off with like creating the tarot course, and that's
Mhm.
going to be like something I eventually kind of get going pretty strongly. Mainly because like, yeah, I have patience, but I don't have the patience to like teach a whole bunch of people all at once. So here's a course.
Yeah,
um,
fair enough.
and from there, I was going to like kind of get back into crystals and making jewelry again,
Mhm.
because I really enjoyed that. So um, I'm going to be
Awesome.
doing that, but then I'm also going to be doing interviews like this. I'm going to be doing podcasts. We're going to use like footage from this for clips on TikTok, YouTube, um, and it's going to be. I'm aiming for 18 months, but my partner Jeff, he's like, you gotta kind of keep your expectations tempered. Like we're good like 2-3 years from where we're gonna try to be. And I was like, all
Yeah,
right, 18 months, 18
we
months.
understand
Um,
that. We
but
understand that.
but the plan is to really get the spiritual community to be much more inclusive. Um, so
Hallelujah.
uh, that's like one of the main goals. The other is to make it more socially acceptable. That's like my purpose, is to get it to where, I hate to say it like mainstream, but get this way of thinking, this way of being, this lifestyle to be a much more widely accepted and just be just another incorporated facet of our culture instead of being like an outlier on the
I
fringe.
absolutely love that you say that because there are so
So
many
many people that
like in
like they don't
Facebook groups.
want
Yeah.
it's like okay look, a collective unconscious movement has happened. There's been a collective awakening and there's nothing wrong with that. It's like I mentioned in one of our shows, it's like several thousand years ago, there was also a collective change, and everybody was born pagan, and then they converted to Christianity,
Right.
and that got to rule the world for a couple thousand years. And now there's another shift that we just started in the last decade, and it's going to play through till at least 2058, if not longer.
Well, and there are people like in Facebook groups and shit, and they're like, I can't believe everybody thinks that they can just get into this witchcraft and blah blah blah, and it's like,
But they can't.
but they can,
and their
it's-
ancestors started all that
Oh,
shit.
absolutely.
Like all of our
so I
ancestors lived
totally
that
agree
way.
with like
Yeah.
not I mean I hate to use the term mainstreaming.
Right.
Yeah.
But making it more common within
Right.
our culture.
Well,
Yeah.
and I like the way you're using the word inclusivity
Mhm.
because that's what it is. It's people don't get to say, well, you can't because you haven't been interested in this, whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's like,
you haven't
no,
been
you
doing
can't
this
tell
long
anybody
enough.
how they can believe.
Yeah.
Like the collective unconscious is making a shift.
Yeah.
We are becoming more aware than we've ever been before. And that collective unconscious, like my goal is very much in line with yours. I don't necessarily want, you know, I don't care what God you pray to. I don't care if you're Christian. I do care if you care about this earth we live on because we all fucking live on this earth. So like my personal goals in like the information that Maddie and I are getting out and where I'd like to grow as a person and as a spiritual leader and things is to help people understand that the way we live is very unnatural, and in order to fix a lot of the societal problems we see, we have to collectively agree to make a change to that, because that, you know, if we're collectively making changes, then things can actually happen. If everybody says, I don't want my milk coming in plastic jugs anymore, let's go back to the milkman where you get these glass jugs that are reusable, and it's so much better for the environment. If enough people were interested in reducing their trash, if enough people were interested in cleaning up, we wouldn't have so many of the environmental issues that we have today.
Well, all right. This might be a little preachy and a little conspiracy
Oh,
theorist.
did I not just sound
No.
preachy? I'm sorry.
Not at
Let me
all.
get higher on
Not
my
at all.
soapbox. So you're fine.
Not at all. Yours was very common sense. But
You'd think.
like kind of getting like we touched on like the elite, like the controlling elite. And one of the things, and like this kind of ties into your getting more to like a natural way of being and living, is like whenever the FDA approved like these food preservatives back in like the 50s.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
I've had
but
so
we-
many
we've been just-
Facebook arguments with people.
Well, not only
Wait,
that,
wait.
our next week's podcast is about setting goals to like make
go
yourself
to the farmer's market to
Right,
eat fresh
because-
vegetables, because even the stuff you buy in the store is a fresh vegetable is not as good.
Well,
for
also
you.
it lowers
Yeah.
your fucking vibration and
Yeah,
you know,
for sure. Like when you eat food covered in wax, it's not good for you.
Yeah, right.
So-
I'm sorry. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
keep
No,
going.
no. Well, if we look at our society, you go back 100 years, knowing somebody that had cancer was rare. It was
Yep.
truly a
Fucking
rare
really.
thing.
I say that shit all the time, and people are like, they just didn't know. No, it's because they didn't eat everything with fake preservatives and out of plastic.
Well,
That's why they didn't have cancer like we do today.
yeah. I
Sorry.
want to say, like, my theory is that it's the preservatives. Like, the FDA did maybe like a quick study on them. It's like, okay, well, we tested them for a year. They seem fine. It's like, okay, well, that's a year. You have to, like, consider 20, 30, 40, 50 years of buildup.
Couple generations.
Sugar is in everything. Sugar is good in moderation.
Don't
but
steal
when
my
you
sugar.
all you consume,
Well-
I'm sorry. But like, it's natural, but when all
Yeah.
you consume is sour cream, like half that shit's fucking sugar. You know, why the fuck? Like, it's fucks. It's addictive. It fucks
well,
with your hormones.
Yeah.
Our whole food system is wrong for us. Like you can look at a package of cheese and half the ingredients in that are not fucking food.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're preservatives, just like you said.
Well, and some of it's not even just preservatives. Like most of our junk food is plastic. Look into it. It's
I
fucking
know.
plastic.
Look, bitch, I love
But-
ramen noodles. Like,
And it's like the rough thing, because you bring up the elite. That's the food that's affordable for most of us, is the fucking shit that keeps your vibration
well, and
low.
then you've got Kim K, and she's like, "Here's my kick-ass fucking organic produce in my organic produce refrigerator." You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
because everybody
Not
can
that
afford
she's
that.
the elite. She's probably
Right.
like the lesser,
But
but
still,
no
yeah.
hate on Kim K. But like,
Yeah.
still, you know what I mean?
But
Like,
it's that whole mentality of like, they use food to keep us down just like everything else.
well,
Well, it's because we have to have it.
Right.
we
Like,
have to
we
have
have
it.
to
and
have it.
also, when we're slow, when we're sluggish, when we're sick, when we're overweight,
you're dependent on the system.
What?
You need that Medicaid or that
Well, also,
Medicare. Like,
like-
I'm not dogging on anybody that has it. I have many family members that are elderly and whatever, they utilize what's there. But when the government creates a situation where you need their fucking help, and then you don't bite the
Physically,
hand that feeds
absolutely.
you, because the elite know that. They know you don't bite
Orion's
the
like
hand that
kicking the
feeds you.
shit out of me. He's like, "You're right, Mom. Fight the power." It is
But
the
no, my
preservative.
but that's my theory is that those food preservatives are what cause that massive uptick in cancer because
Yeah.
it's not supposed to be in our bodies, so it alters our DNA like
Right.
on an atomic level, obviously.
Right.
And
Yeah,
Well, and-
or it doesn't leave, and then your body tries to protect itself from this poison, and that
Right.
turns into a cancerous growth.
I'm
Yeah.
not trying to get too controversial, so I apologize. And
you
if
met
it's
us?
too much, we don't have to talk it.
hey, have you
I
met
was
us?
definitely gonna say the men. Well, for example,
Oh, big pharma.
women.
bastards.
Well,
Oh.
women in my generation is like they have the most things wrong with them, whether it's PCOS, hormone imbalances, endometriosis, fertility issues, and I fully believe it's birth control.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like
Yeah.
or you're not tampons.
Mhm.
Sorry, you're a guy, but like
Tampons are
are
bad
not
for you.
good for you
No, they're
at
bad for
all.
your
They're
body. They're
horrible, and they're
horrible.
covered in chemicals, and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
inserting it into your
Hoo-ha.
Vagina.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say it. I went to say a different word.
I said womb, but then I was like, that's pretty deep.
Well, that string, that's a long string.
Right. But you are, and you're not, and it's fucking
No, it's
with
bad
our
for you.
reproductive
It
system.
is.
Now, I don't know much about like male reproductive issues because I'm not a male, but I'm sure there are some
Yeah.
probably.
Well, I
Oh,
mean, there's like a big uptick in erectile dysfunction.
yeah, I was about to say the little blue
yeah.
pill. Like
Oh my
that
God,
didn't need.
exactly.
Not only did that not exist before, right? Because big pharma didn't make it yet, but there wasn't as much of a need for it because men were still fathering children in their 60s, back in the day, right? You went through wife after wife after wife because she kept dying in childbirth, and you need somebody to raise all them babies, and you keep going, and your wife stays the same age, and you just kept getting older. I watch a lot of Deadly Women. That's how it goes a lot. Sorry.
Right now.
No, you're good.
Menopause
Well, I mean,
saved
the maternal mortality rate in the U.S. is like one of the worst in the world. So
Oh God,
Oh,
you're
God.
scaring me because I have to have a C-section, and I am fucking terrified.
Well, but remember, it's come so much further than it ever used to be.
well, look, do you know why it's called a C-section? A cesarean? Because
Why?
the story is that's how Julius Caesar was born.
Oh,
So
and
that's
That's
why it's called a cesarean.
Like the doctor's name.
well, and then there's Saint Nonatus. Is that it? Nonatus, and he was a saint, and he's the Christian saint of midwives and labor and delivery. And he was born a miracle baby born from cesarean C-section. His mother died. But it was like forever ago. I mean, it was like 14
Well, of course,
Well,
yeah. It's
I mean,
saint, right?
What's
Right,
funny
but,
is like you
you
think like our ancient religions were barely had fire and sticks and stones for weapons, but there's actual evidence of Egyptians doing brain surgery.
I saw.
There are
Well, that's because the aliens helped them.
there's also well, no, that was the giant humans. But then even like in the I think it's Aztecs, there's evidence of them using implants where like they put like a metal plate on like and the person lived for a few years after
I
that.
do know that I have heard of that. Like they were doing that kind of stuff way back.
Yeah.
Well, and I fully believe like we're gonna have to wrap up pretty soon because
Yeah.
my kid is babysitting her kid and she just texted. So
Okay.
but I fully believe that we had a
More
vast
knowledge,
amount
right.
of knowledge.
Absolutely.
We had very advanced societies and we lost all of it because of Christianity. I'm going to blame the church.
Well,
like I believe they wiped it out and then they kept it gone on fucking purpose
Oh, I
because
see.
if you can control the people, like, well,
Well, you gotta
you got
think.
labor for life.
You say that, and part of me is like, what if they got too smart and then something happened and we had to go back to being fucking dumb?
Well,
Oh,
You know,
that's
then-
the
I mean,
that's
Simpsons
the
made a joke.
that's the Fermian paradox, where
Yeah.
a
Oh,
civilization
mine or yours?
that's where a civilization advances so much that something happens to where we lose it all and have to start all back over again.
Yeah,
And
that's
we
where
are
we're
on
headed
our
right
way.
now.
We
Yeah,
are
we're
on
on
our
the way,
I
100%.
totally believe it. I
Yeah.
totally believe
Oh,
it.
1 million.
Except
But-
for Atlantis, they descended.
They're in the fourth dimension because
Right.
they were just like,
No.
I'm tired of everybody's shit.
Well, what happened with Atlantis was it didn't sink into the ocean. They just left this dimension and went to the fourth.
Exactly. They got
Yeah.
tired of everybody's
They were
shit.
like,
That's what I
woo,
that's
woo,
what
woo,
yeah,
and
like,
they, just
that
went
that's
like-
my view on Atlantis
Yeah.
is they were just like beep, we just bleeped out again.
They're like,
because
everybody hold
They're
on.
like- Deuces. They're like,
the
we're
easy
out.
button.
So yeah, it's the other part of the Fermian paradox is that the civilization advances so much in their technology that other advanced races are like, nope, we don't want you to get to here, so we're gonna kick you back down.
I guess you're right.
absolutely.
Aliens are involved.
And that's where like a whole bunch of other different theories come in, and so
I mean, the masters didn't want us to use nuclear war. I get it. Like, I
Like,
mean,
okay.
I'm with you 100%. Like, we've talked about so many of these things ourselves in show episodes, preparing for show episodes, just as friends. Like,
Nuclear
with
war
you.
scares the shit out of me.
Oh,
Oh, my
God.
god, I can't even think about it. I've seen
No.
American Horror Story Apocalypse. You know, like
no, I don't want to. No.
it's,
No, I
it's-
wasn't trying. I was.
I'm sorry. No, you set me off because it's
No.
like nuclear war is one of the scariest shit because there's nothing you can do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I
no-
only brought it up because he was talking about like other more advanced civilizations that are like, y'all is too big for your britches.
Well, what if they're
And it
like,
made me
no,
think of-
boom, and then they pull a fucking
Well,
Kim Jong Un?
You know,
and,
can
like-
you not just take out the elite and leave the rest of us? Like,
What?
we're doing fine. We're not
But what
trying
if
to
the
blow everything
elite
up.
are?
The elite are the more advanced civilization? I don't think so. What do you think, Kevin? Do you think the elite are the
No.
more advanced?
I'm definitely gonna say
I think the
no,
more advanced.
because
There's probably like 5 elite. Like I feel like there's not very many. There's probably like
it's-
what?
it's like 5 or 6 families, and each of
Right,
them has
they
like
own everything.
they have,
Is
like-
one of them.
they have
Half
like
the government's related to each other.
they have like a
Clearly.
head of that family.
Really?
It's kind of like the mafia where there's like a head of the family.
Yes, exactly.
So there's
Yeah.
so yeah, to
It's fucking
simplify
crazy.
it, yeah, there's like 5 or 6 that meet around a table.
Right,
and
exactly. Right. And it's like I just imagine it's all dark. There's a random red button. Nobody knows what it does. Fucking, you've got Bill Clinton over here, and fucking.
Are you really think Hillary gave him a seat at the table?
It's
She did
Hillary
not.
over here, and
No, it is Bill standing behind Hillary, rubbing her shoulder,
oh,
saying,
she's a crazy bitch.
"What, dear? What do you need from me?" I'm sorry.
I'm
You
like,
know who wears the pants in that relationship?
literally, because she
the
wears
pantsuit.
Exactly. Ugly ones too.
Oh,
Rock that bitch. Learn to rock it like Jackie O would have. Thank you.
so I'm also a big believer that, like, I'm just saying, like, I think some people who died didn't actually die. I'm not saying they were necessarily elite,
Look, don't get us all suicided,
but
Maddie.
like,
Kevin
no,
doesn't
I'm,
even
I'm
know.
just saying, like, JFK.
Oh, I know.
Oh, he was murdered.
No, he's
Let's-
alive. He's alive.
No, I'm pretty. No, I.
Elvis is alive.
No, I fully
Elvis?
believe that.
No, that fucker's
Betsy
dead.
Jackie O got her husband on her face. Like, I'm sorry, but poor
She
that
got-
woman.
she got his head on her.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
He was handsome too. They knew it. That's why.
because he was a good man.
But it was the elite maybe then that took him.
Yes,
out.
exactly.
And maybe
Yeah.
they did.
He wouldn't play their game, so the elite was like,
He's
"You
like
got to go."
a Catholic and a liberal. I don't fucking think so.
Well, I mean, you got the Pope Mobile.
Oh my God, what if the Pope is part of the elite? He probably is.
He works for them. I don't think.
You don't think?
I
he
don't
is?
think he's a
Maybe,
royal.
well,
You know
there's
what I'm
the
waiting-
elite, like you said.
You know what I'm waiting for? Queen
What?
Elizabeth to be announced that she's dead.
Yeah, we've all been waiting on that, I think.
Like, I'm pretty certain she already is, and they're just kind of waiting to get their ducks in a row.
But dude, fuck that guy though. Fuck Prince Charles. I do not want him to be king. And fuck that bitch ass that is his wife. I say
Camilla?
that. What's her fucking name? Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
her.
I don't know.
You
I'm
know
a
what
Diana
I
fan,
I
but
don't want her to be like queen. What is it? Queen. It's not Queen Regent. It's like Queen Regent, or it's like they got a bunch of different terms.
But I am not an interested in the royal family kind of person over here.
Yeah.
I could
But-
not
I
answer
like
that question.
Harry, and
Well, no,
I feel
but
like
the thing is, even though they're just like a figurehead in
Right.
Britain,
Uh-huh.
they have a whole lot of power, like behind closed doors.
mm,
So
I believe
that's
that.
why. So that's why, like, whenever they finally announce that she's passed, I'm just gonna wait to see what shit hits the fan, because
Oh,
I'm gonna
God.
get my
Well-
popcorn.
well, like I'm over here. Like, did
well,
Harry,
yes, finally.
did Harry and Meghan leave because they
Because-
didn't want to be a part
Because
of
she
it?
was already dead and they were like, oh, fine.
Well, no, because I'm sure I had read that they are part of like a higher like Illuminati shit. So maybe Harry was like, dude, you
Shit's gonna get real. Let's go.
Harry,
Let's go
Harry's
to
like,
America.
you killed my mom.
America.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because they
They fucking well. Anyway, that was the media. That fucking media is a piece of anyway. But before I start talking about the media,
we better get going. No,
Yeah. We don't have another 3 hours.
my 15-year-old will text again and go, "Mom, when are you coming to get me?" So,
I had so much fun doing this.
I
interview.
did.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for. I'm not sure how you heard. Well, actually, real quick before we go, how did you hear of us?
We were going through podcasts, and like we found yours, and we're like, I like that one. So that was it.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be like, my art drew them in.
Oh my gosh. Drew.
Pun
I
intended.
drew that one. I didn't paint it.
Yeah, pun intended.
Yeah.
But no,
So
for real.
we,
Whenever I finally like move forward on my deck, so I don't have to like get copyrights or whatever for all the art. I mean, like, I need this one drawn. So, like, I need your interpretation of it.
Very, very interested. Or I know some talented photographers if you want like real life photos.
Oh
of
no,
stone.
like
You want drawing.
Maddie was saying, like, some of them fucking crystals get expensive.
do. Yeah, they do.
Just going to a crystal shop. No, I
I
just
just
want
need
to
a
take pictures.
Well, it's gonna be like 30 just to take the picture. Man.
Right?
That would be a genius move on a crystal shop's part. Like, yeah, you can take pictures. $5 for this stone, $10 for this
Right.
stone. It's a discount.
Yeah.
So we didn't
How much is a
really-
stone? You don't want to know.
Yeah,
Right, exactly. The picture's $5. You figure it out.
But I did really enjoy this. I mean, we
Yes,
kind of
thank
talked
you.
about a bunch of things, but that's pretty much how Witches Talking Tarot goes.
Yeah.
It's bounce and bounce,
Yeah.
and it goes and it goes.
Yeah.
We're on topic and we're off topic.
Yeah,
It's
we
all
bring it
fun.
full circle and then
Right.
we go off track again.
It's a big
Yeah.
circle,
Yeah.
but it comes to us.
That's right.
There's a big
It's-
circle
it's
and
not
there's a
weird.
bunch of little.
Not
But yeah, this has been fun.
And
Thank
I
you.
learned something. I want to
Yes,
talk more
yeah.
about the astral projection
Yeah.
with you, Amber. And
Yeah.
like, thank you very much
Definitely.
for
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
that.
Really, that was an incredibly illuminating and enlightening part of this conversation for us. Like,
Good.
and I love how we've discussed so many things with you that we've been discussing offline
absolutely.
ourselves, like
Absolutely.
over the past few weeks. So it's like very serendipitous that you reached out to us and invited us to come have this conversation with you.
Yeah.
So we're really like, I really enjoyed it. I'm very thankful. I'm not going to speak
Oh,
to Maddie. I'll let her do
absolutely.
her.
Thank you.
Like,
it was
we had
and it was
a
so
blast.
much fun.
It was.
Yes, I wanted.
Yeah.
It
We
was.
want to do it again. So
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
reach out
Like
to
if
us.
you ever,
Do part
yeah,
2,
you got our
which is
email.
talking to
Yeah,
us,
Sure.
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
We can talk about big pharma and the media and all the other things that'll get us canceled.
And then like
They'll get us
talk about-
unalived real fast.
right? And then we'll get like a minor little. Oh, and by the way, this was our favorite tarot card. Oh my god, I'm scared. I didn't even think about being unalived by the.
Bring up the Clintons. I'm like, don't get us suicided.
Oh
You
my
never
God.
thought about it.
Disclaimer, I don't really believe that.
We're gonna put that as like a little
Not
ticker
a
at the bottom.
disclaimer. Bill, I used to like you, but your wife, no. Get the saxophone back out.
I don't got a
Get the
problem
weed
with
out.
it.
Get the saxophone.
That's right. Just get the saxophone, Bill. That's all you need. The saxophone.
Well, no, he needs a sack of weed and a saxophone.
Oh, right. He did not inhale.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but it's legal now in some states, so he can. He can do it.
No, I
Extra
fully
roll.
believe that by the end of this year, it should be federally decriminalized.
Well, it's decriminalized.
Well, I was gonna say,
it's already
yeah.
decriminalized too,
Hey,
but
Baby
That
steps.
legal bit.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. You're right. You're right. Baby
Yeah.
steps.
I still
Even though it was made illegal in one fell fucking swoop. Thanks, William Randolph Hearst, you motherfucker. That one I didn't say lovingly like Samuel L. Jackson, just for everybody's knowledge.
I still don't want to pay $600 for a fine though. So let's get rid of that.
Yeah,
My friend had to pay $600 for paraphernalia.
Good Lord.
I
No.
know.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Thank you
Ladies,
so much
thank
for
you.
your time. Let us know where we'll be able to like check this out or send us a link. We love
Yeah,
listening to
yeah,
our
we could-
show.
We'll email a link to like some of the stuff to you. So,
Awesome.
and of
Awesome.
course,
I think
we're also going. I don't know if you ladies recorded this, but if you didn't, I've been recording the whole time. So we
Okay,
can
because I do
send.
not know how to record through this. Oh, I see
Okay.
the little fucking camera
Oh,
thing.
we see it. Okay. Well, so I think what we're gonna do
Yeah,
is
if you could send us a copy, that would be super great because
Sure.
I've never used this before.
please let us know when it goes live. I mean, take your time, whatever.
Yeah.
I think what we're gonna do is save it for our platform for when I
Sure.
go on maternity leave. So within the
Well, and I'm not gonna lie, it's much longer than most of our episodes.
It'll
It's gonna be
take-
a full week.
yeah,
it's
yeah,
gonna be
it'll-
1
it'll
week's
definitely
episode.
take a while,
Yeah, it'll be
so.
2 episodes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Okay, well then
Yeah.
we'll definitely save it for maternity
Yeah.
leave because we just got 2 episodes and we're trying to like
Ooh, we're
get
trying to
shit
build
done.
up for when she's got to be gone,
Yeah.
which is great because then I go visit family while the podcast's already
Amber gets a
recorded.
vacation.
Yeah, Maddie.
Yeah,
gets
that's like
a
with
big
me.
recovery. Oh,
Well, that's like
amazing.
for me. Like every Sunday, I have to do like the weekly forecast, and
Oh yeah.
he'll take like pictures of the cards, and he'll go through the audio, and like
Yeah.
make a little blurb of whatever it is I said about it. So,
Right.
and then he just like schedules them so they drop each day. So
Nice.
That's
So, yeah.
awesome.
That's
That's really
actually-
awesome.
You can schedule on Instagram. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Did you say? we-
I believe you can schedule posts on Instagram. I know you can on TikTok.
Oh my gosh! Well, thank you for that information because we were
Really?
here like
Yeah.
it would be so convenient to
If
schedule.
scheduling works,
You
yeah.
might have to switch to like a business account.
Yeah.
So
I,
that
we,
you-
I think we are on a business.
Are we?
so I
Okay.
think so.
But
Thank you.
I believe it's in there somewhere. So
Okay. Well, yeah, if you could send us the video, because yes, I've never used this particular platform before, so I was not aware how to record.
Mhm.
Unless maybe I did record because I did hit the camera button, but I thought it was just to let you see us. So I don't know.
We'll
But
figure it out.
yeah, if you would just, for good measure, if you don't mind sending it, so
absolutely, I'll make sure he
that
does.
would be
So
wonderful. We definitely want to let our viewers hear this because it's
Yeah.
been so fucking enlightening and fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's been real interesting.
Well, Maddie, Amber, it's been a pleasure, and you two
Thank
have
you.
a great
Thank you,
night
Kevin.
and blessings to each and every one of you.
Thank you. You
Absolutely,
too.
blessings, Kevin.
Bye.
Thank you.